¿Qué onda? This is Shista Garcilaso. Aztlan Weekly is a volunteer-based community news outlet. Our work is brought to you by the contributions of El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida, PNLRU, also known as La Raza Unida Party. If you're interested in learning more about the party or want to join, visit www.razaunidaparty.org. Our show is also brought to you by Maíz Poppin' Press, a raza-based publisher producing cultura para la raza. For more info, visit their webpage, www.maizpoppin.com, or find them on social media by searching at Maíz Poppin' Press, and keep a lookout for their upcoming book, Once Upon a Time in Occupied Aztlan, by El Indio, copyright 1985. Lastly, Aztlan Weekly is made possible by you, the listener. If interested in offering further contributions or support, visit www.aztlanweekly.com. And now, on with the show.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
There is a signal broadcast every second of every day. Look around the environment we live in. Carbon dioxide, fluorocarbons, and methane have increased. We are resource to them. They want benign indifference. They want us drugged. We could be pets. We could be food. But all we really are is livestock. Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
¿Qué hubo, raza? Yo soy Ernesto Ayala, and this is Aztlan Weekly. We begin with news from our camarada Chista Garcilaso desde Arizona, Aztlan. According to azpm.org, a protest occurred last Saturday in Tucson, Arizona, highlighting growing national concerns over the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man by police in Minneapolis. Demonstrators gathered at the Pima County Superior Court to voice their outrage and demand accountability for the incident, which has sparked similar protests across the country. The event also served as a platform to criticize local and national immigration enforcement policies, emphasizing the disproportionate impact on marginalized communities. Speakers at the rally connected the Minneapolis shooting to broader issues of systematic racism and state-sanctioned violence. Ultimately, the Tucson protests aimed to foster solidarity among various social justice movements and call for comprehensive reforms in both policing and immigration. Our camarada also reports, according to ArizonaFamily.com, earlier this month on January 12th, protesters disrupted a pro-ICE conference in Pinal County, Arizona, organized by Pinal County Attorney Kent Volkmer. The event aimed to promote cooperation between local law enforcement and immigration and customs enforcement terrorists. Demonstrators gathered outside and some entered the venue, chanting and holding signs against immigration policies. Law enforcement managed the crowd, and while proceedings were briefly halted, the conference continued. The incident underscores a debate surrounding quote-unquote immigration, enforcement, and local government involvement in Arizona. In Noticias, reported by our camarada Andrea Martinez desde crazy town Nuevo Mexicaslan, New Mexico, Roswell experienced an extreme and unexpected snowstorm in early 2026, marking the first snowfall of the winter. Approximately 8 inches of snow fell, an unprecedented amount for a region where average snowfall rarely exceeds 2 inches. As temperatures dropped and conditions became life-threatening, 2 emergency warming shelters were rapidly organized, not by city or county leadership, but by community organizations. One shelter was operated by the Salvation Army and the other by Food Not Bombs Roswell, hosted at Westminster Presbyterian Church. Between the two locations, it is estimated that 50 lives were saved. No assistance, coordination, or emergency response support was provided by the city of Roswell or Chavez County. This absence of leadership is not new, but it remains unacceptable. Once again, residents, the people, were forced to rely on one another, than on the public institutions tasked with protecting community health and safety during emergencies. In spite of this failure, the people of Roswell rose to the moment. Community members donated blankets, sleeping bags, hot food, and warming drinks, ensuring that unhoused and vulnerable residents survived the storm. The Humane Society provided emergency care for pets exposed to the cold, and the Westminster shelter allowed pets to remain with their owners, recognizing that safety includes families in all their forms. While a winter storm had been anticipated earlier in the season, this event arrived suddenly and without adequate warning or preparation. With infrastructure unprepared for snowfall of this magnitude, many residents, including organizers, were snowed in. Road conditions remain hazardous, though melting is expected as temperatures rise. This event underscores a painful truth. When crisis hits Roswell, it is the people, not the government, who respond. Mutual aid, faith communities, and volunteers did what city and county leadership did not. Lives were saved not because of official preparedness, but because neighbors refused to let neighbors freeze. Neighbors refused to let their very own neighbors freeze. The community of Roswell deserves better. Emergency planning, shelter coordination, and rapid response must not continue to fall solely on volunteers. Accountability, funding, and proactive preparation are urgently needed. Before the next storm, not after. Our camarada Andrea Martinez reports. And in Bay Area news reported by Calor News LA, according to Radio Bilingüe, José Bernardo Cuellar, also known as Dr. Loco, has died. Cuellar was an American, a Chicano, anthropologist, musician, and educator. He was professor emeritus of so-called Latino or Raza studies at San Francisco State University, where he taught courses in Chicano, Latino studies, music, and cultural performance. Cuellar is recognized as a scholar of Chicano culture and the bandleader of Dr. Loco's Rockin' Jalapeño Band. José Bernardo Cuellar, presente. Y en otras noticias, desde Nuevo Mexicaslan, New Mexico, our camarada Enrique Cardiel desde Burque reports, according to source nm.com, on Monday, January 26, hundreds of advocates and community members gathered at the New Mexico state capitol to demand an end to quote-unquote immigrant detention and the closure of private facilities like the Torrance County Detention Facility. Protesters urged state lawmakers to pass the New Mexico Dignity Not Detention Act, which would prohibit state and local governments from entering into or renewing contracts with private prison companies, making money off of raza. Speakers highlighted deplorable conditions and alleged human rights abuses within these centers. The event coincided with the start of the legislative session, serving as a direct push for New Mexico to join other states in phasing out private immigration jails. Organizers aimed to shift the state's focus from incarceration to providing supportive services for immigrant families and asylum seekers. And in a joint effort against La Migra, the autonomous Brown Berets of Albuquerque and El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida have partnered and will have an ICE Out of Our Barrios event on February 7th from 12 noon to 2 p.m. at Tiguex Park, 1800 1800 Mountain Road, Northwest Albuquerque, Nuevo Mexico.
We'll be right back after a word from our contributors.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, a Chicano writer, editor, and Aztlan Weekly reporter with the widest name. Scott! Aztlan Weekly is produced in association with Maíz Poppin' Press, where we publish radical imagination and resistance writing that pops. Visit maizpoppin.com. We're also in association with the Palabras del Pueblo Writing Workshop, an affordable and accessible online workshop that centers La Raza and strengthens our own literary institutions. Writing that speaks to our community first and loudest. See more at palabrasdelpueblo.com.
And now back to Aztlan Weekly.
Y en más, Migra-related news, desde Oaklandia, Califas, our camarada Scott Duncan reports, this past week, hundreds across the Bay Area took to the streets in protest of federal immigration enforcement and ICE violence. Demonstrations were held in San Francisco, at the Embarcadero and Civic Center, with solidarity actions also reported in Oaklas and San Jose. The protests were sparked by the fatal shooting of a civilian by federal agents outside California, but speakers and organizers made clear the issue is local. Raza and immigrant communities here continue to face fear, surveillance, and enforcement despite so-called sanctuary policies. Students participated in walkouts, families marched, and others joined in chants for ICE to leave our streets. Organizers emphasized community defense, accountability, and the need for local governments to stop cooperation with federal immigration agencies. And in news desde Aztlan, according to ColoradoPolitics.com, the Colorado Attorney General Bill Weiser initiated a public reporting system for alleged U.S. ICE misconduct. The Colorado Department of Law aims to monitor federal activity for compliance with state laws protecting civil rights and limiting local support for federal immigration enforcement. A dedicated forum allows individuals to document suspected abuse, harassment, or unauthorized entries. This action follows high-profile ICE operations raising concerns about community trust. The Attorney General seeks data to potentially hold federal agencies accountable for violating state protections. And in other news, desde Utahslan, according to the Salt Lake Tribune, earlier this month, El Estado de Utahslan, Utah shifted its approach to homelessness, prioritizing long-term stability and integrating comprehensive social services like mental health, counseling, and job training into its housing infrastructure. Addressing the root causes of displacement is considered essential to reducing the number of individuals living on the streets. The Salt Lake Tribune article highlights a push for public-private partnership to fund more affordable housing units across the Wasatch Front. Officials aim to create a, quote, homelessness response system, unquote, to ensure homelessness is rare, brief, and non-recurring. And back to Arizonazlan. According to ArizonaFamily.com, the Tucson Pride organization has dissolved and canceled its 2026 festival due to severe financial challenges and internal instability. The nonprofit cited a significant lack of funding and the resignation of several key board members as the primary reasons for the shutdown. This closure marks the end of Arizona's oldest LGBTQ+ organization, founded in 1977. The organization stated it could no longer sustain the operational cost or labor for its events. Local leaders are exploring ways to preserve the festival spirit through a new partnership.
Spensa, damas y caballeros, we seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties. I don't know, just put it in a tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties. Please stand by.
sick and tired of what's been going on in the hells of North America. And so they rap lyrics that speak to the pain and the suffering.
Yo, how can we discuss this? The whole system left me disgusted. Time reveals all, now they never can be trusted. This infiltration that affected civilizations. Weaponize the mind, that's how we fight the propaganda. Cock the hammer, wield the machete to cut the cancer. Left with all this anger released in a target chamber. Look within yourself and see how far that God can take you. I got blessed in a junque, surrounded by all the nature. Sunk my toes in the sand, had visions of the past. Arawak Taino land, I raised my hands to the sun. Felt the spirit of Pedro Campos. Don't deny who you are, eso te hace daño. The revenant, with bare claws, I'll leave you severed with hemorrhages. Trying to meddle with no malevolence. I cook with compression, impressive, how high the pressure get. My calligraphy's in graffiti, I write the messages. What?
Circle with these medicine men.
Y'all can't stop the drum.
Smoke with censored to the sleds.
I'm a god by blood.
We're the universe in the flesh.
It's a promise of death.
Our people will not go unavenged.
See us victory step.
My suffering is sophisticated. Contrived situations by the state mutilated. Limbs down the block and abroad. Kidnapping grown adults and using taxes for bombs. But terror's in the eye of the beholder. One man's threat is another man's soldier. Ancient faces in your databases. Building cases and cages and phases. The genesis. Gentrify our history books and erase all our melanin. A sedative. They want us calm, cool, and collected. Obedient and patriotic, now won't respect it. Brown to the bone, refugees en mi raza. Los tengo en mi corazón from Sudan to Gaza. ¿Qué pasa? El movimiento antifada. Sueños realizados, lágrimas de liberación. Freedom and equality, yeah, that's the type of shit I'm on. Nothing holier than introspection. Not your op. The internet is a tool that they use to weaponize your way of thinking. Know the who, the what, the where won't tell you why the ship is sinking. Bird's eye view, the planes are falling from the sky. Phoenix from the ashes, I hear my people cry.
Circle with these medicine men.
Y'all can't stop the drum.
Smoke with censored to the sleds.
I'm a god by blood.
We're the universe in the flesh.
It's a promise of death.
Our people will not go unavenged.
See us victory step. Stay connected to the gods until the ceremony ends. A celestial graveyard is where the warriors rest. Locked up in the county, had a soulless winter solstice. Informants on the loose. San Bernardino sheriffs try to hang me with a noose. I was really up in jail, fighting the conspiracy, the signature mask. And his art is my legacy. Sitting bullets next to me. I didn't say a thing when them pigs try to question me. A real life story of David and Goliath in a sober state of mind. My frequency's the highest. I don't wanna think about the grief and the loss. No response, no answers, how my prayers have gone. We don't fear anyone living, homie, only the dead. Make the most of what you have left, whatever it is that you're looking to get. Hopefully you get it, the outlawed or regalia. This is why we wear it.
Circle with these medicine men.
Y'all can't stop the drum.
Smoke with censored to the sleds.
I'm a god by blood.
We're the universe in the flesh.
It's a promise of death.
Our people will not go unavenged.
See us victory step.
Giving gratitude to the essence of all life, ancestors and future generations. Look up and see this victory step in the constellations. Supernaturals, mathematicals, red triangles, and all of that.
Thanks for hanging in there, listeners. Now back to Aztlan Weekly.
And we're back. Raza, that was a song by Jag Ariola called Celestial Victory, featuring Frosty and Rex Luger. Produced by Rojos. For more music from Jag Ariola, search jag.ariola. That's JAG.ARREOLA on social media, YouTube, and Spotify. Y en noticias desde Nevada, Aztlan, Nevada, according to Fox5Vegas.com, Las Vegas City Hall honored several so-called Latinos, or what we call raza, leaders for their contributions across various sectors like education and public health. City officials highlighted the leaders' role in cultural growth and economic stability, with honorees expressing gratitude and motivation for continued community work. 2 notable raza mujeres were awarded. In health equity, mental health therapist Margarita Romano was honored for addressing mental health in our raza community. In education, Helen Juan Lopez, Executive Director of Academic Services for Clark County Collegiate Academy, was honored for helping raza students transition from high school to college. And in other news, there's the Sur Califas. According to KTLA.com, an injured 4 to 5 month old female mountain lion cub found in Castaic roadway is being housed at the Los Angeles Zoo. Veterinary evaluations found no broken bones, only a minor paw cut, despite initial fears of a car collision. Reunification efforts with the mother in the wild were unsuccessful after 2 nights. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife is using cameras to monitor for the mother. Castaic residents are asked to report sightings of adult mountain lions with cubs to aid reunification efforts. Y en otras noticias desde Tejaslan, Texas, according to Kens5.com, Planned Parenthood South Texas and volunteers are painting rainbow crosswalks on private clinic properties in San Antonio and the Rio Grande Valley as an act of resistance following a state directive to remove public displays. This initiative aims to make LGBTQ+ individuals feel safe at their health centers and is planned for all 7 South Texas locations. Another news from Tejaslan, according to Texas Public Radio, quote, a protest broke out Saturday at the South Texas Family Detention Complex in Dilley, about 70 miles south of San Anto, after guards abruptly ordered attorneys to leave while detainees, many of them children, poured into open areas of the facility chanting Libertad, or freedom in English, according to an immigration attorney who witnessed the event. Immigration attorney Eric Lee said he was at the Dilley facility for a confidential visit with clients. An immigrant family of 6, including 5 children, when guards began shouting for everyone in the waiting area to leave, citing what they described as, quote-unquote, an incident. As the Michigan-based attorney walked toward his car, he said he heard what sounded like hundreds of children shouting with voices he described as high-pitched and urgent. He said he could see children streaming from dormitory areas behind a chain-link fence and chanting Libertad.
And now, eventos en Aztlan.
Greetings and saludos, Aztlan Weekly. This is Hashid Kasama Quintos Kasama, located in the greater Fresno area, Hanford, Califas. I would like to report on upcoming events. For upcoming events, we do have from the Chicano Youth Center and Mothers Helping Mothers, Hijas de Tonantzin, a winter clothes drive for the community of Mendota, Califas. Clean, warm clothing for men, women, and children. Boots, socks, scarves, hats, blankets, hoodies, gloves, beanies, jackets y todo. Hygiene products for men and women. Deodorant, razors, pads, diapers, shampoo, toothbrushes, toothpaste, 3-in-1 body wash. There will be a donation drop-off located on the west side, Chinatown in Fresno, Barrio China, at 1435 Fresno Street. Suite number 13. Once again, that's 1435 Fresno Street, suite number 13. Open Monday through Friday, lunes a viernes at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Immigration Assistance Office. Make sure the items are clean. All clothing will be accepted as long as the items are clean. And we also need help with volunteers for the Chicano Youth Center. Please message if you can help. You can go to the Instagram page at Chicano Youth Center Fresno. The official food distribution will be taking place on February 15th. Once again, that's February 15th in the community of Mendota, Califas, Lan. You can also contact Irene Paraserano at area code 559-942-0708. Once again, if you have questions, contact Irene at 559-942-0708. This is Hashid Kasama, Quintos Kasama, reporting for Centro Califas Region, Aztlan Weekly.
And an event in Arizona Aztlan, Arizona's Cultural Coalition, Inc. invites you to, quote, join us at El Puentes Fest Sunday, February 1st at the Tempe Center for the Arts. Reservations are now open for free tickets to performances in the studio during the festival. Come out to support some amazing local youth artists who are preserving traditions, heritage, y la cultura with music and dance. 2:30 p.m. Is the Desert Sounds Mariachi. 3:30 p.m. Ballet Folclórico Quetzali, Arizona. 4:30 p.m. Quetzali, Arizona. 4:30 p.m. Mariachi Hermanas del Corazón. Visit culturalcoalition.com for more info and to reserve tickets. Y un evento en Nuevo Mexicaslan, Nuevo Mexico. The Secret Gallery New Mexico presents Malinche. Friday, February 6, 5 to 9 p.m. La Malinche, an indigenous woman, translator, and intermediary during the Spanish Conquista, has long been cast through conflicting narratives of betrayal, survival, and power. This group exhibition features Chicana and indigenous artists from across the Southwest, Aztlan, who revisit her story as a site of reclamation, asking what history leaves out and how inherited narratives can be reimagined. Rooted in translation, survival, and lived experience, Malinche centers contemporary voices in dialogue with the past. Opening reception Friday, February 6 at Secret Gallery. For more info, visit the Secret Gallery New Mexico webpage, secretgallery.com, and find them on Instagram by searching Secret Gallery NM.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Avalos. I'm the social media intern here at Plaza de la Raza. 1 month from now, we're going to be opening up the Boathouse Gallery for our Almas Espinadas exhibition. We are looking for Los Angeles-based artists, and all submissions will be reviewed by a panel of judges. If you're interested in applying for our exhibition, check out the link in our bio. The gallery will be up between February 13th and February 28th. Let's take a look at the place. So this is where your work could potentially be shown. For this show, all forms of media will be accepted. Feel free to submit anything. Ideally, we're looking for work that is bold, unconventional, and challenges the norm. So not only are we having the gallery, but we're also going to be having a market. If you're unable to make it into the gallery, feel free to submit for our vendor application, where you can sell your work or sell food, clothes, etc. So if you're an artist from Los Angeles, or if you know somebody who might be interested, share the link and submit your work. Good luck to everybody, and we hope to see you here.
For more information on this artist call, search Plaza de la Raza on Instagram or visit their webpage plazadelaraza.org. And an event in Aurora, Colorazlan, Colorado, as posted on social media by Olim Cafetzin. Quote, join us at Olim Cafetzin on February 6th to learn about how the betrayal of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo and the oppression, colonialism that followed shaped the history of Chicanos and gave birth to the nation of Aztlan. This lecture is brought to you in conjunction with El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida, Colorado, as well as Aurora Unidos CSO. It takes place on February 6th, 6 p.m., location Olim Capetzin, 9529 East Colfax Avenue, Aurora, Colorazlan. For more info, find them on social media by searching olim.cafetzin. The Fine Arts Flea Market in Las Cruces, Nuevo Mexico, invites you to come by Friday, February 6th for food, family, community, live art, and an open mic for freestyling. When? Friday, February 6th from 5 to 10 p.m., where 100 Main Street, Plaza de las Cruces. Para más información, check out their Instagram page by searching Fine Arts Flea Market.
To all of my hotties out there, I just want to say, if you're upset, if you're angry, if you're just tired, girl, this stuff is heavy. You should be upset. You should be angry. You should feel restless. And if you're at the point where you're like, ugh, what can I do? I created Hotties Against ICE. And so this whole campaign is about bringing women who live here in Vegas, and hopefully we go to other cities, to come together to really try to create change. Say we don't support ICE, and we don't believe this is the type of country we should live in. And we believe that if we can bring enough of us together, then maybe there could be a change. So I invite you guys to follow us at Hotties Worldwide and join all of the girls who are coming together to really try to create change. We want you to feel weak and hopeless and like you can't do anything, but you can. To one of our meetings, I would love to see you girls there.
For more information, find them on Instagram by searching Hotties, Hottiez, worldwide. That's Hotties with a Z. And then event in Tejaslan, Texas. Come by the Alamito Learning Center Monday, February 2nd, starting at 6 p.m. for a panel discussion on the significance and relevance of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. This discussion will be led jointly by Dr. Oscar Martinez, historian, Ms. Ruby Montana, UTEP lecturer, and Dr. David Romo. This plática will take place at the Alamito Learning Center. Address is 508 South Virginia, El Paso, Texas. Tejaslan. Y también un evento en Los Ángeles, Califas. Valley Walkouts invites you to the All Valley Walkout Against ICE, February 6, 2026. A peaceful student-led protest standing up for our familias and communities in the San Fernando Valley. For details, find or send them a direct message on Instagram. Search valley.walkout and send a message.
We'll be right back after a word from our contributors.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, a Chicano writer, editor, and Aztlan Weekly reporter with the widest name. Aztlan Weekly is produced in association with Maiz Poppin' Press, where we publish radical imagination and resistance writing that pops. Visit maizpoppin.com. We're also in association with the Palabras del Pueblo Writing Workshop, an affordable and accessible online workshop that centers La Raza and strengthens our own literary institutions. Writing that speaks to our community first and loudest. See more at palabrasdelpueblo.com.
And now back to Aztlan Weekly.
And that was Aztlan Weekly presenta Aztlan y más, porque the saying goes, we bring Aztlan with us everywhere we go.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Hello, Raza. This is Yvette Xochillot reporting from Orange County, Califas. I am the project manager of La Raza Database Research Project, and today I want to speak on
the killing of Alex Preddy on January 24th, 2026, an ICU nurse and U.S. citizen, has triggered a national reaction that we rarely see in immigration enforcement cases. His death is forcing attention onto practices that many of us in our communities have been warning about for years. In the days following his killing, Greg Bobino, the senior Border Patrol official who had been overseeing these high militarized profile federal operations, has been removed from his national operational role and reassigned, with reports indicating that he is expected to retire. The Department of Homeland Security has emphasized that this was a reassignment described as a mutual agreement, meaning He was not fired. If we talk about this from a legal perspective, the language matters. A reassignment and retirement are personal decisions, not necessarily findings of wrongdoing. They do not constitute accountability, discipline, or justice. I think what we are seeing is more like a public relations containment strategy. They get to remove a visible figure, they receive lower public pressure, and preserve the institution without changing any underlying practices. It is important to say clearly that Alex Pretty's killing must not be minimized. His death isn't just, and it deserves investigation and accountability. At the same time, many communities are experiencing a painful truth. This level of attention is arriving just now. Even though violence has been long directed at migrants, immigrants, asylum seekers, refugees, and of course indigenous peoples with little to no national response. This is why it's so important that we do not lose sight of Liam Conejo Ramos, the little 5-year-old child whose family is from Quinchusí, Otavalo, Ecuador. Otavalo is a global recognized indigenous Quechua region, and Quinchusí is an indigenous community with a long history of migration. The U.S. media has not explicitly identified the family as indigenous, but the region that they come from is historically and demographically indigenous, and this is well documented. I think Liam's case is a reminder that this moment is not about one killing or two killings, one official or one reassignment. It is about the violence and how it is distributed, whose suffering is normalized, prioritized, and whose pain finally forces a response. As Ecuador aligns more closely with right-wing regional and U.S. immigration agendas, indigenous and migrant communities become increasingly more vulnerable across borders. Recognition does not begin when the person harmed fits an image of the system and its values. What many people are calling a turning point for affected communities, for us, for Chicanos, for migrants, for the indigenous people, and it's only a confirmation of something that we have always known. Abolish ICE.
Reporting for Aztlan Weekly, this is Yvette Xochillot. You can learn more about this work through La Raza Database Research Project, or you can find me on social media as Yvette, IVETTE, Xochillot, XOCHIYOTL. Muchas gracias.
Now we return you to our regular scheduled program.
En Aztlan Weekly presenta Palabra.
Ningún ser humano es ilegal, es the Virgen that's holding up the sign in protest, right? La Virgen de Guadalupe, also Tonantzin, and Coatlicue is la patrona of a lot of Mexicanos and immigrants and migrants that have migrated throughout all of South America. Es como una patrona, the guardiante, the caretaker, the one that oversees and protects, right, as you're traveling. In Tijuana, too, they have a lot of La Iglesia, también a lot of people leave homage there as people cross over. So La Patrona in Los Angeles is also a big image for a lot of protests and civil rights movements throughout the United States, and specifically the Chicano civil rights movements. That image is so profound to me because I'm also a Guadalupana. My mother gave me to her. I came back because I was hit by a car and died and came back. This image has always been around me, even though she's a colonial image. I know and understand the duality of what she represents. She's also the Earth Mother, the goddess, la diosa de la tierra, la madre tierra de las Américas, la Virgen Morena, right? In the protests, I've seen her being used a lot, whether it's posters or people dressing up. And in this occasion, in the mid-2000s, when there was another big immigration protest that was calling for immigration reform during the time that Obama was in office, I remember that, because I painted this painting in 2008. So it was a little bit before that. So we were protesting. I had my friend, an actress, a Chicana actress, also here in the community, Raquel Salinas, had the Virgen dress up, and we marched together. And I made the posters, and I said, we were in front of City Hall, and I said, girl, like, can I take a picture because I want to paint you? I used that as reference, and I just painted. I already knew that's what I wanted to paint because her image was so profound, and people were so attracted to her at the march. And I think because people also want to have faith and hope that things could change, but also the spiritual part of it is integrated in our culture and also part of our resistance. We belong here. We belong here.
That was our hermana artist Lilia Ramirez, aka Lili Flor, discussing her artwork featured as part of the We Belong Here, a public art installation that transforms La Plaza de Cultura y Artes walls into a nightly canvas of resistance, from sunset to dawn. La Plaza's walls come alive with bold, striking images by 10 extraordinary artists, including Lili Flor. For more info, you can find Lili Flor on Instagram by searching Lili Flor Art. And for more information about La Plaza de Culturas y Artes, visit their webpage, lapca.org. You can also find them on Instagram by searching La Plaza LA. And now, Curly Tlapoyawas, Aztlan Classics.
Oscar Zeta Acosta is a Chicano legend. At 6 foot, 225 pounds, he was an imposing figure known for carrying a loaded .357 Magnum in his belt and enough drugs in his briefcase to kill a small horse. He was a bold and courageous lawyer, writer, and activist whose legacy remains deeply etched in Chicano history. Born in El Paso and raised in California, Acosta used his legal skills to defend Chicano activists, becoming a fierce advocate for social justice. He famously represented the East LA 13, members of the Brown Berets, and Chicano leader Corky Gonzalez. His novels, The Autobiography of a Brown Buffalo and The Revolt of the Cockroach People, blended fiction and autobiography to spotlight Chicano identity and resistance. Perhaps best known publicly as a character in Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Acosta's true impact lies in his unapologetic fight for Chicano empowerment. Acosta disappeared in 1974 during a trip in Mexico. He was eulogized by Hunter S. Thompson, who said, "There he goes, one of God's own prototypes, a high-powered mutant of some kind, never even considered for mass production. Too weird to live and too rare to die. Que viva Oscar Zeta Acosta."
And now Aztlan Weekly presents Maestro Speaks con Rafael Avitia.
What's up, gente? What's up, Raza? I just want to talk about a few things that some of us can get involved with this spring. Raza Chicana, Mexicana, it doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to be Chicanos. You don't have to be Mexicanos. You don't have to be, Raza. You can just be somebody who wants to get involved with the cultura. Or with, more importantly, I would say, the Chicano movement that involves both cultura and the political side of it, the action-based part of it, including the marchas, the protests, or any kind of action that is enlightening. And that's a revolutionary act, is to enlighten your mind about the history, about anything that empowers the community and empowers you, whether it be you be a high school student or middle school child, or even younger, right, to an elderly person. You're never too old to learn. So let me start off with the first one coming up, and this is this weekend in San Jose, California. I know that Raza Unida, for example, is having something on the 31st. I'm part of it. It's actually a statewide conference where we are organizing the Raza Unida party in California specifically. All states where Raza Unida chapters are doing this, and they'll be organizing in San Jose, California. I made a whole video on that. So that's happening this weekend, and that's starting at 12:30 to about 5:30. It's about a 4 or 5 hour conference. It's not going to be long, so show up. Look at my old video. I got the directions there. I don't want to give them out because I might give them out wrong, but definitely San Jose is on the list. Another thing that's happening is on January 7th in Los Angeles, California, we have Ice out of Aztlan, and I did a whole video on that too, about how we are going to gather at Mariachi Plaza in East LA. We're going to have a few speakers. We're going to have a great performance by Jai Gariola, one of the greatest entertainers out there in Southern California, a revolutionary brother. And listen to his lyrics. I'm telling you, he's going to be performing, and we're going to have speakers, and we do a marcha. So you're welcome to come out there. Brown Berets will be providing security. We'll be doing that along with CSO, Central CSO, and the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, as well as other organizations, including Raza Unida. There's going to be also things happening around the country, including Houston, El Paso, Albuquerque. A lot of these places are doing, and Colorado, they're doing their own Ice Out of Aztlan event around that weekend, because February 2nd, some people are going to be doing events in recognition of the signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. And we're going to recognize that that treaty is null and void, meaning it really went against Raza. So a lot of people will be protesting that just to take a stand. And then, so those are some of the immediate events happening. Also look out for the Super Bowl. Can't miss the Super Bowl, right? Some Raza are going to be out there organizing on that Sunday. The 7th is going to be on a Saturday, February, and then February 8th will be the Super Bowl. Raza, including the Brown Berets, Los Brown Berets, and Black Berets and others, will be organizing out there, including, I think it's CSO, Central CSO in Northern California. So definitely go out there to any of those events. And these are events that are either a marcha, a protest, or just a community event. Now, I know that there's going to be stuff like car shows and concerts, and those are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. We need the music, we need the entertainment, we need the cultura, but we also need to, make sure we, get our minds straight too with that education, not miseducation, but education. So some car shows I know going to be coming up. I'll probably be talking about some as they come down the line when car show season comes, through. And then I can't forget Cesar Chavez's birthday, which people recognize in some states and others they don't. A lot of people are going to be, marching in honor of Cesar Chavez. We see that every year. Some schools do things, some states do things, and that's beautiful. So if you're involved with the labor movement in any way, or the Chicano movement, or the peace movement even, because Cesar Chavez to take a different approach, right, to things, definitely get involved. I know I'm a big part of that in my community as well, as an educator, as a Brown Beret. And then one other thing that's coming up, and of course those we having, one other thing that's coming up that I should not leave out before I forget, will be the Chicano Park Day, and I believe that's in April. And don't know the exact date yet, but it's at Chicano Park in San Diego, California. If you have not visited Chicano Park, it's been there. It's a historic park that was taken over by the community. The government, the local government, was going to make it a CHP or police station, right? They're going to make this little park a police station, a substation. Well, Raza used to use that park to gather, to hang out. And it's under the bridge. There's a beautiful song called "Under the Bridge" at Chicano Park, right? That's at least that's the lyrics. That's part of the lyrics there, because it happened there in 1970. And so go to Chicano Park. It's beautiful. People from all over the world go there, take pictures. They have car show. They have performances. It's beautiful. And so I'll be talking more about Chicano Park when that comes up. There's also a couple other events taking place, but I don't want to forget May 1st or Primero de Mayo, A lot of people forget that on Primero de Mayo, that is actually meant to commemorate and recognize the workers, not just any workers, but the workers of the world, all workers, especially the hardworking workers, from the farm workers to the hotel workers to you name it. And this is all over the world. This is something that started here in the United States of America. Go figure. The whole world, recognizes this. I'm in Cuba and they recognize this. I'm in Mexico City, they recognize this. Heck, I go to France and they recognize this. But yet the United States of America doesn't recognize this. And this is a contradiction, right? How can we have a day that started here and not recognize it? Part of it is because they want to keep us ignorant and not aware about the history of the labor movement here in the United States of America and why workers deserve better, right? Why they deserve better pay, better, everything. When you look at the health benefits, it's sad because a lot of people don't have those, or it's a mess. My opinion, we should all have free healthcare for everybody, no matter what. Give it to the people. We have the money to do it, but we got our priorities upside down because we have leaders in Congress who don't know what they're doing, or else they do know what they're doing and they're purposely keeping things away from us that we should have available, including free healthcare for all. So May 1st, Primero de Mayo, I know here in Fresno, it's a big event. And so a lot of people are doing things, and I believe that's a Friday. So it usually falls on the day is May 1st. And then after that, there'll be a couple other events taking place. I don't want to get into any details because I know we have in August, we do have what's called the Chicano Moratorium. That's always recognized around the country. It started in East LA, where 30,000 people came together to protest the Vietnam War. And, the sheriffs and police officers, law enforcement, they shot a lot of Raza Chicana. They shot Ruben Salazar, a journalist with the LA Times. And it was a scandal, but it was for us, Raza Chicana, it was our Selma, Alabama. We are taught about the Black Civil Rights Movement and how Martin Luther King Jr., the people he was leading, marched through Selma, Alabama, and got beat and brutalized on national television by law enforcement. Well, that happened to us too in Chicano Park. So it's not just recognized, by the way, in East LA, and I want to make that clear, it's recognized all over. Texas has been doing this for a while too, Colorado. Matter of fact, there's a lot of Chicano moratorium committees. San Diego has their own in the Bay Area. I've attended those in the past, so I know they're doing stuff up there. Now, between that, there's also some other events that are going to be taking place. And after that, obviously, September 16th. But I mentioned this because I want people to be up on some of these events. And I know I missed some. I know I've forgotten some, but I don't want to misrepresent the organizers' efforts. For example, in certain parts of the country where they may be doing an event and we haven't heard of it, or maybe an event that takes place, it's a tradition. I definitely want to talk about it. Obviously, if it's for gente, if it's for the people, the Raza Chicana, then definitely I want to make sure that people know. And when I say, Raza, I want people to understand, I'm talking about people from all over this continent, from North America to South America, Central America. It doesn't matter where you're from. We recognize, we all have a common experience. And so when I say Raza, I'm including everybody. And so, I wanted to make this video just to make sure that people are keeping up with these events. Again, the immediate one coming up is January 31st. It's a Saturday. Raza Unida will have its first California statewide conference. We haven't had this in years. My understanding is it will be held in San Jose, California. The next event after that will be one held in East Los Angeles called Ice Out of Los Angeles, or Ice Out of Aztlan, actually. And that'll be at Mariachi Plaza, 10 o'clock. There'll be a march. There'll be performance and speakers. And then there'll be events taking place, again, all over the country. So look at your local, Raza Unida Partido, Brown Berets, or organizers. Look it up, Ice Out of Aztlan. There'll be the protest. It's actually a protest. If you want to go protest the Super Bowl and protest the current policies by the current president and what ICE is doing to gente, definitely, people will be out there making the voice heard on one of the biggest stages, days, platforms in history, the history of the world, which is the Super Bowl, along with the Olympics, Super Bowl. And, those events, they draw a lot of attention. So we want to make sure that's in Northern California, the organizers, that they get the support. And then I'll be mentioning other events as we go through this year. I definitely want people just to, keep tuning in. Love, hate, doesn't matter. Hey, it's all good because, we're all here to learn and definitely evolve. I do want to make one thing too clear is that I know a lot of you have been asking about little history on the Brown Berets. I will be giving a little history on the Brown Berets. I will also be giving a little history on the different factions, where we went, how, the Brown Berets evolved into what we are today, including La Mesa Nacional de Brown Berets, which is the largest, longest running coalition network of Brown Berets across the country. Keep in mind, it may be a different patch, but it's the same beret. Only one beret. Many patches, only one beret. And we put that beret on, it doesn't matter the formation. Everybody assumes that responsibility, assumes that duty, and assumes that commitment to carry that beret, wear that beret with dignity, right? And we represent the people. So when you put that beret on, obviously it means a lot. And so I'll be doing something on the Brown Beret history and where we are today. With that said, everybody, go out, enjoy the springtime with your families. I know there's a lot of horrible things happening out there. There is every day, but you got to take in the good too. You soothe that soul with your family, take time out with your loved ones, spend that time, even if it's just by yourself. Do it because our mental health sometimes is a little more important than our physical health. And some of us learned that the hard way. So stay strong, que viva la raza, and aho.
For more from Maestro Avitia, visit his YouTube page by searching Maestro Avitia.
And now, shout outs.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Robert Ramirez here. Just want to give you another book rec, Mexican Gothic. I know you've heard of it. I know you have seen the cover at your local bookstore. This book has just been kind of like flying off the shelves for years now. I think it's the name. I think it's the spookiness. It just captures people, right? So, set in 1950s Mexico, Mexican Gothic follows Noemi Taboada, a glamorous young socialite from Mexico City who's sent to a creepy mansion in the countryside after her cousin writes a disturbing letter begging for her help. The house, called High Place, is cold, isolated, and full of secrets. The family that lives there is strange, and something about the walls themselves seem alive. It's pretty creepy. As Noemi investigates, she uncovers a dark mix of family horror, colonial history, and the legacy of power and control, all wrapped in lush Gothic atmosphere. It's part ghost story, part feminist resistance, and all around haunting. Author Silvia Moreno Garcia, a Mexican-Canadian writer, reimagines the classic Gothic novel through a Mexican lens, blending horror, history, and social commentary into one unforgettable story. So if you like a slow burn that really gets you going, keeps the pages turning, this is one for you.
We'd like to make a shout out to Curly Tlapoyaba for allowing us to feature his Aztlan Classic series. You can find more Aztlan Classics episodes by visiting the Instagram page. Search Aztlan Classics. If you would like to hear more from Curly, he and Ruben Tlaquetecat co-host the podcast Tales from Atlantis. You can find the show wherever podcasts are available. Search Tales from Atlantis. And we'd also like to make another special shout out to Hennessy Pedro Parker. There's the Houston Tejaslan for providing his firme music and beats throughout the program. If you'd like to hear more from him, visit soundcloud.com/Hennessy-Pedro-Parker. And once again, our camarada Veronica Aliel would like to give a shout out to all Raza who are in any way contributing to building locally in their communities. And a definite invite to join El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida to build national Raza political power. If interested, visit razaunidaparty.org. That's razaunidaparty.org. And finally, Aztlan Weekly would like to hear from you, Raza. If you reside anywhere in Aztlan and would like to share newsworthy events with us, or if you would like to make a special shout out to family, friends, y queridos, or an organization serving our community, or if you would like to share your thoughts, cáiganle. Shoot us an email at news@aztlanweekly.com, or you can visit our website at aztlanweekly.com. You can also find us on social media. Search Aztlan Weekly and click follow, subscribe, like, or share. Gracias.
Thanks for listening, Raza. Hasta luego.
Que viva la raza y que viva Aztlan libre. Es todo.
Minutes, Coordinated Universal Time.